Status and rights of women under Islamic law. This is the topic of today. And in the entire literary history of the world, the ugliest parody that has ever been composed anywhere is to be found in the comical distortion of the Islamic law on the status and rights of women. Muslim woman is today visualized by non-Muslims as miserable creature separated from the rest of the world and devoid of all natural and human rights. Ironically, this disgraceful image of women is baselessly ascribed to a socio-religious philosophy which has the credit of once picking up womanhood from the neither regions of human society and elevating it to the highest pedestal of dignity and honor. Very unfortunately, this travesty of truth is mistaken for truth in all parts of the contemporary non-Muslim world, reflected in the widely prevalent misconceptions regarding women's rights in Islam are of course both deliberate distortions and naive misunderstandings, motivated misrepresentations, and honest misgivings. As a result of this four-cornered attack, truth has been lost beyond easy redemption. What we should know and what we believe that Quran is divine book of guidance for both men and women. Verse by verse, the Holy Book of Islam erects the basic structures of a socio-legal system which is addressed absolutely equally to all men and all women. From the very opening verse in the Quran until the end, there is nothing showing that its general exhortations are meant exclusively for either sex. Keeping both the sexes on a par, the Holy Book declares, men and women submitting to the will of Allah, men and women believing in Him, men and women obeying His commands, men and women who humble themselves, men and women who give in charity, men and women who fast, men and women who guard their chastity, men and women who always remember Allah. To them, Allah promises forgiveness and great rewards. Likewise, in numerous other verses, the Quran brackets Muslimat with Muslimin and Mu'minat with Mu'minun. Nowhere does it distinguish between these two halves of the sphere of humanity. Beside this general equalization of sexes in order to effect a perfect male-female equilibrium in human society, in numerous verses the Quran speaks specially of women, and it even promulgates a special chapter under the title The Women, Surah An-Nisa, while notably we do not find any Surah Ar-Rajul, the men, in the Holy Book. So many parts of Surah An-Nisa deal with women and the family. Scattered over many chapters of the Quran also are special exhortations, precepts, and commands concerning all stages of female life, childhood, marital life, and old age. The barbarity of female infanticide that was in Arabia before Islam in the era of ignorance and still practiced in our society is struck down by one stroke of Quranic legislation. that the baby girl killed will be questioned on the day of judgment for what crime she was killed. Thus, securing to female entrance to the human world a respectable entry, the Quran wholly abolishes the traditional difference between parents' attitude to sons and daughters. Next to the infancy and minority of females, the Quran pays attention to wifehood and raises its status to maximum heights of glory. In numerous verses, it exhorts men never to violate the principle of imsak bil ma'ruf, respectable cohabitation between two halves of a man's life in relation to their wives. Like imsak bil मारूफ का मतलब ये है कि आपने अच्छे तरीके से उनके साथ बर्ताव करना है। तो वो ये जो अल्लाह पाक ने जो मोमिन हैं, जो इस मुसलमान हैं, उनको ये हुक्म दिया है कि अपनी औरतों के साथ अच्छा सलूक करना, imsak bil मारूफ. To the husband who dislikes their wife, it tells, if you take a dislike to them, it may be that you dislike a thing while Allah brings about through it a great deal of good. कि हो सकता है जिस चीज़ को आप नापसंद कर रहे हो और आप एक ऐसी चीज़ को नापसंद कर रहे हो कि जिसके बदले में अल्लाह ने आप ये बहुत ही कोई अच्छा रिवॉर्ड या अच्छी डील रखी है. The Holy Quran warns husbands that where imsak bil maroof is respectable cohabitation, becomes impossible, the only course of action open to them is tasrih bil ihsan, a happy parting of ways. No other course of conduct in between. Neither desertion nor cruelty is permissible under any circumstances. In Islamic law, men and women have the same right in respect of dissolution of marriage. The man is given a right to divorce his wife, or wife has a right to part her way from the husband, and that is known as khula, which is as a matter of policy does not want a married couple to wash their dirty linen in a court of law, makes available to either spouse the facility of extrajudicial divorce subject mutatis mutandis to the same conditions. So this is the right, and this is given to the every male and female, that if they don't want to live together, so they can part their ways. And the very concept of marriage in Islam, which has its unique feature, has been distorted. Many celebrated non-Muslim authors on Islamic law, whose books are heavily relied upon in our course, have defined Muslim marriage as a contract which has for its object procreation and legalization of children. To regard marriage in Islam as an object-bound contract in the English jurisprudential sense of that word is indeed a slur on the Quran, which proclaims marriage to be a misaq ghalid, like a sacred covenant, एक मुकद्दस ज़ाब्ता, एक मुकद्दस मुआहिदा आप कह सकते हैं उसको. इस्लाम इसको एक मुकद्दस मुआहिदा कहता है. Under the Islamic law of succession, daughters, granddaughters, and lower family female descendants, mother, grandmothers, and higher female ascendants, sisters, aunts, cousins, and other female collaterals, all have, in their respective turn, the right of inheritance. And we can conclude that the tragedy of modern age is that while the non-Muslims have either awfully distorted or gravely misunderstood Islam's stand on women, the Muslims in general are themselves either whole ignorant of their true laws in this regard or have unconsciously allowed these laws to be eclipsed by some un-Islamic practice which they have embedded from others. Both are equally guilty. Both have to be awakened to their responsibilities. The non-Muslim brethren should sincerely try to understand with unbiased mind Islam's unaltered laws concerning women. At the same time, Muslim women should understand that Islamic law is laying for them a mammoth wealth of valuable rights and privileges. Instead of looking towards others, they must fully and properly educate themselves on those rights and privileges and assert themselves to get them translated into realities of life.